In this video, we are going to correct the 5 most common grammar mistakes we heard students make this week. You might be saying these wrong right now without knowing it.
Exactly. We aren't just looking at grammar rules. We're looking at habits. Habits that, if fixed, make you instantly more understandable.
First, we'll dive into the preposition trap, specifically correcting in versus on in specific contexts. Second, we tackle the infamous make versus do nightmare. And finally, we wrap up with a quick mini dialogue where you get to spot the error before we fix it. Get ready to clean up your English right now.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Pocket English Podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. Today, we're not introducing 5 new phrases. We are taking a deep dive into the 5 worst habits we've noticed this week in student conversations. If you fix these 5 things, you will cut down on confusion immediately.
Let's jump straight into the number 1 mistake, the preposition trap. This is a very subtle error, but it makes a huge difference in how natural you sound. It happens when learners confuse the preposition needed after certain verbs, and the worst offender we hear is the verb depend.
Ah, yes. We hear students say all the time, "It depends of the weather," or "I depend of my job."
This sounds like a direct translation from another language, but in English, this is absolutely incorrect.
The rule is simple and absolute. The verb depend always takes the preposition on. Always. It depends on. I depend on.
Let's practice this small but mighty correction. Sarah, tell me what you are doing this weekend.
I'm not sure. It depends on the weather. If it's sunny, I'll go to the park.
Perfect. Notice how easy that sounds. Now, let's try it with a person. David, who are you relying on for that project?
I depend on my project manager to keep the schedule tight. I can't depend on just myself for the whole thing.
Excellent. So, your immediate takeaway today for mistake number 1 is erase the word of from your brain when you are following the verb depend. Replace it with on. Try to say 3 sentences right now using depends on out loud. This will set the habit.
Moving on to mistake number 2. This is another very common translation error that deals with the verb participate.
This is a classic. Many learners use participate and then follow it directly with the name of the event. For example, I will participate the meeting tomorrow.
While a native speaker would understand you, it sounds incomplete. Participate requires the preposition in. You must participate in something.
So the correct sentence is, I will participate in the meeting tomorrow.
We hear this error a lot with activities too. Are you participating the marathon next week? No. Are you participating in the marathon next week?
The word in acts like a connector, making the relationship between the verb and the event clear. It is a subtle fix, but essential for sounding natural. This rule also applies to related words like involvement. You have involvement in a project.
So, your action step for mistake number 2, whenever you use the verb participate, ask yourself, did I remember the word in? You must participate in something. Try saying, I want to participate in this conversation right now. Now, let's look at mistake number 3. This mistake causes a lot of confusion because it involves 2 very similar verbs that seem interchangeable but are absolutely not. Make versus do. This is the make versus do nightmare we mentioned earlier.
This pair of verbs is the bane of every English learner's existence. The basic rule is, do is for actions, tasks, and duties. Make is usually about creation, production, or physical change. But there are hundreds of exceptions called collocations.
The mistake we hear most often is mixing them up when discussing favors or effort. For instance, learners often say, "Can you make me a favor?"
And that is incorrect, because a favor is an action or a duty you perform, not something you physically create. We use do. The correct phrase is, can you do me a favor?
Another major error in this category is related to effort. Many people say, I will do my best effort.
But effort is something you create or put forth, not just an action you perform. The correct collocation is, I will make an effort, or I will make my best effort.
Let's quickly review the core collocations for this mistake. Remember to do work, do chores, do homework, and do the laundry. You do duties.
And you make a mistake, make a decision, make a call, and make a noise. You make things happen.
Your action step for mistake number 3 is to memorize those 4 simple pairings. Say them 5 times right now. Do a favor, make an effort. Do a favor, make an effort. If you keep coming back to the channel for quick, actionable fixes like this, hit that subscribe button right now. We deliver these small lessons every day to help you build real-world confidence.
Moving on to mistake number 4. This one is simple but extremely common in speaking, especially when talking about future plans.
Oh yes, the error is saying, I plan to go to London next year.
Wait, that sounds fine. Why is that a mistake, Sarah?
It's grammatically okay, but it's not what a native speaker usually says in casual conversation. The problem is the tense and the structure. In English, when talking about future intentions or decisions, we almost always use the continuous form, planning.
So instead of, I plan to go to London, the natural flow is, I am planning to go to London next year. Or, even simpler, I am going to London next year.
The continuous tense, I am planning, suggests ongoing intention or a decision that is already in process, which is how we naturally talk about our futures. Saying I plan sounds like you are reading from a formal agenda. Let's listen to the difference. Which sounds more natural? A, I plan to eat pizza tonight, or B, I am planning to eat pizza tonight. B sounds much more natural and conversational. It flows better. So the fix for mistake number 4 is to use the present continuous tense when talking about future plans. I am planning to, or we are planning to. Try saying, I am planning to study English tomorrow. Finally, we come to mistake number 5. This is the error we see when students talk about the price of something. This is a simple vocabulary error. Learners often ask, how much cost this book? The error here is mixing up the noun form, cost, and the verb form, also cost. When you want to ask about the price of something, you need the verb to be and the noun cost. The simplest and most direct way to ask this is, how much is this book? If you absolutely want to use the word cost in the question, you have to use the auxiliary verb do. The question structure must be, how much does this book cost? We can't say how much cost this book because there is no auxiliary verb supporting the question structure. So, when you are shopping, remember these 2 perfect phrases. Repeat after me. How much is this? And the other one, how much does this cost? This is the real-world English you need, and the fastest way to get to that confident, native-sounding level is by spotting and crushing these common errors. We have now covered all 5 mistakes: the preposition after depend, the need for in after participate, the correct use of make versus do, the use of the continuous tense for plans, and the correct way to ask about price. Now for the final test, the Spot the Error Challenge. I'm going to read a short dialogue that includes at least one of these 5 errors. Listen closely and see if you can identify the mistake before I fix it. Here is the dialogue. David, are you planning to go to the company party? Sarah, I haven't decided. It depends on my schedule. David, well, I hope you come. We need to make a good time. Did you hear them? There were 2 clear mistakes in that short conversation. The first mistake was my line. It depends of my schedule. The correct phrase, which we learned today, is it depends on my schedule. And the second mistake was David's line. We need to make a good time. You don't make a good time, you have a good time. That's a strong collocation. You can also say, we need to make the effort to have a good time, linking back to our make-do rule. Fantastic work today. You have successfully cleaned up 5 of the most common errors that confuse native speakers. You are now armed with the correct phrasing, and your speaking confidence should be much higher. If you found this error-correcting format helpful, please hit the like button. That tells us that you want more videos focused on fixing your speaking habits. And if you want to keep making English your easy daily win by learning practical, error-free phrases, subscribe to Pocket English Podcast right now. Thanks for learning with us, and we'll see you in the next lesson.